Hello, welcome to 1000 Words, Stories on the Way. My name is Matthew Clark, and I'm really glad that you're here. I'm a singer-songwriter and author of the Well Trilogy, and this podcast is where I collect short essays that I hope can be like the songs and the stories and the tales that we tell each other along the pilgrimage of faith, to keep each other going when we feel like giving up. So I pray that they help us imagine more of what it means to lean into Jesus' faithful love. If you're new to the podcast, thanks for checking it out. Please leave a review and share it with a friend if you enjoy it. And please head over to my website, matthewclark.net, where you can sign up for my newsletter. You can find all of my music and books and more. This week, I am sharing some thoughts that I've been having while spending a lot of time lately out at my family's farm. Specifically, I've been deer hunting, which, if you've ever been deer hunting leaves you lots of time to sit quietly and still in beautiful places and just think. So here is this week's episode of 1000 Words, Stories on the Way. Sitting very still, very cold, for a very long time. The last few weeks, I've spent the better part of my days out at the family farm, near where my parents live. It's deer season until the end of January, and I grew up hunting with my dad, so that's what's on my mind lately. Honestly, I didn't exactly relish deer hunting as a kid. I wanted to be with my dad, but as a wriggling 8-year-old boy, I didn't get particularly excited about being set in the woods and expected to sit there alone and perfectly still for, on average, 3 hours. Also, my dad was pretty gung-ho about hunting back then, and so we were usually up and in the woods well before sunrise. And it was usually very cold. I could never get warm enough. Now, as you can imagine, that made sitting still that much harder. Shivering and wiggling were means of survival in the midst of a long, chilly morning, I reasoned. Being just a young'un, I didn't yet partake of a morning cup of coffee, so I'd also get really sleepy on the deer stand a lot of mornings. One of the only times growing up that I actually saw a buck of any size was when it woke me up from a nap. I had climbed down from the 12-foot-high ladder stand to sleep a while on the ground. Better to interrupt a hunt with a nap than snooze your way off the side of a high platform and wake up dead. At any rate, I woke up on the ground eventually with a big 8-point buck just a few feet away, inspecting the strange creature he'd discovered laid out at the base of a tree. I gasped upon waking and startled the big fella, and we both froze for a moment. I didn't know what he was thinking, but I was thinking, can I get to my gun? But it was a few feet away, leaned against a tree. No chance. As soon as I moved, the buck darted away. I don't remember if I told anybody about that until much later. I'd fallen asleep on the job, and almost to rub it in, a prize buck had stopped by to make sure I knew it. Now you may think, if you've ever played any deer-themed video games or watched a hunting show, that deer hunting is, action-packed. You may be under the impression that the woods are positively crammed with the critters. The truth of deer hunting is that it is wonderfully boring. It mostly consists of sitting incredibly still, totally silent, for a very long time, while nothing much happens. You begin to memorize the trees. Your eyes catalog every twig that looked like a deer for a few seconds, but wasn't. Your mind marks every twitch of a leaf that wasn't in fact a deer's ear or tail, and learns over time to disregard the sound of all 200 deer footsteps that wound up just being squirrels dashing through leaves or birds hopping across the forest floor. It takes a long time to learn that you almost never hear a deer coming. In fact, you almost never see the deer coming either. Deer don't walk up. They materialize. They are silent forest shadows creeping warily across tree trunks, just darkening the world around them enough to graze the eye. I hunted for 6.5 hours in one day. I saw one bobcat. I memorized a lot of trees. But every hunter knows that most deer encounters last a few seconds. It's like waiting hours in line for the roller coaster, and when those few seconds finally arrive, I'm not exaggerating when I say that the feeling is the same. I cannot explain why the human heart beats like it does when Shadowbuck materializes out of nowhere in the woods. Like the creature slipped through some fairy portal that happened at that moment to crisscross our dimension. Can't explain how impossible it is to slow your breathing, keep your hands from shaking, even 20 minutes after the deer has vanished again. I also can't quite explain why you want to kill something so clearly majestic and gentle. But for whatever reason, you do. You feel like if I could just stop that thing in its tracks, I could get at that beautiful magic, hold on to it somehow. They call it buck fever. It's enough of a rush to keep you coming back, to sit painfully still for ridiculously long amounts of time in extreme discomfort. You go hunting for that. You go hunting for the pulse pound so loud, only the crash of a gun can out-boom it. But truth is, you also go for the stillness and the quiet, which is 99.9% of what hunting is. For instance, I've hunted entire seasons and not killed anything. In fact, seen almost nothing. And I've grown to love the very things that as a child frustrated me. Sometimes I actually enjoy getting up that early and climbing a tree stand before the sun is even up. It can be a kind of game to slip through the woods as quietly as you can. And I've developed a taste for sitting as still as I can and memorizing trees for 3 hours at a time. I never would have thought that could be the case. It's only been in the last year or two that I decided to buy a few trail cameras to leave out at the farm. Now, they've got fancy ones that'll send instant videos to your cell phone anytime a deer passes by. But I bought a couple of the cheapest, simplest ones I could find. And now it's part of my schedule to go switch out the SD cards on the trail cams, come home, and check for deer videos. It's like Christmas morning, y'all. You never know what may have walked past in the last week or two. A pair of raccoons waddling by, a coyote startled by the infrared lights, a big buck, a brand new fawn barely getting his legs under him. There is a whole world going on that would otherwise go unseen. But there's a tiny portion of the forest where the goings-on of that secret world are whispered. Your whole life, your own two eyes, may only be able to see a tiny portion of the good that's going on in this world. Buechner famously said that what's lost is nothing to what's found, and all the death that ever was set next to life would scarcely fill a cup. From the deer stand, I can hear the jets overhead, and some big motor rumbles down the gravel road not far off. There are horrible things going on in the world, things that keep me from sleeping some nights. But they won't amount to anything in the end. I am hunting for the things that will. I am out in the long stillness, picking out the slender trail of the quiet, enduring things. Up before daylight, keeping watch in the cold, for the dawn that may bring a longed-for glimpse of the forest king with his spreading crown as he steps from another world into this one. This week's essay reminds me of a song I wrote a while back after I read Elizabeth Gouge's book, The Pilgrim's Inn, or sometimes it's called The Herb of Grace. In that book, the Elliot family has just made it through a world war, and each member of the family has some personal grief, failing, or trauma to deal with. And the family winds up buying this old bed and breakfast that long ago had been an inn for Christian pilgrims, and it was run by Cistercian monks. So behind the inn is this grand forest, which over the course of the story, each character explores. It's in the heart of that wood where one by one they find a particular quality of quiet that enables them to face their own broken hearts and turn a corner in their healing. So I'll share this song. It's called The Heart of the Wood, and that'll close us out this week. Go with me to the heart of the wood. Come walk with me where the trees grow close. This wilderness has bewildered me so. Come and meet me in the heart of the wood. In the heart of the wood, where the pines keep quiet vigil, where you end in the place that you fear the most, just to turn and find a vision, a way that leads you home to your own heart, through the heart of the wood. Would your heart like a friend for that road, some help to face the regret in your bones? There's no way around it, I think you know that by now, but I will go with you to the heart of the wood. To the heart of the wood, where the pines keep quiet vigil, where you end in the place that you fear the most, just to turn and find a vision, a way that leads you home to your own heart, through the heart of the wood. Like a chapel overgrown and long forgotten, there's a holy place where you have to face yourself, and the image that you find once you've cleared away the vines is so beautiful you hardly recognize it.
surprised to see the rotten years unwasted. You dropped all your defenses like dead leaves, and there in that bitter place you tasted the sweetness of some fruit you could not see. So you held your battered heart out to the quiet, felt its river wash the stone and soil away, and stilled amidst the stillness of the forest, you found the heart to give your heart away. In the heart of the world, where the pines keep quiet vigil, where you end in the place that you feel the most, just to turn and find a vision, a way that leads you home to your own heart, through the heart of the wood.
All right, friends, I pray you're able to find your own little heart of the wood this week, where you can encounter the Lord's still small voice. Don't give up. And as my friend Lancia reminded me of 2 Chronicles 20:15, it says, "Do not be afraid or discouraged. The battle is not yours, but the Lord's." So pass this podcast along if you enjoyed it, and would you please consider supporting my work by becoming a patron partner? Gifts and prayers are what make it possible for me to keep making songs and books and podcasts. If you want to know more about that, you can visit my website, matthewclark.net/partner. But that's all for now. Have a great week, and thanks so much for listening.